Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 9 on DraftKings NFL is here, and I'm going to talk to you about a first look lineup. We're going to build a lineup based around heavy correlation, a quarterback, a double stack, a bring back player, and a secondary stack, so that we really only have to be right about those two things instead of trying to be right about 6 totally different, non-connected, non-correlated things to give us the best opportunity at putting ourselves in a position to get lucky to win a tournament. So the skill is in the lineup building, the skill is in your decision making, and then obviously you have to get lucky at the end of the day. I have had one of my best seasons this year in terms of being consistent week in and week out with my placement in the Millionaire Maker. I have not won the Millionaire Maker this year. So obviously I've had a better year when I won it. I've had a better year when I came in second in it. But like, I'm having a more consistent year this year with my lineup building in the Millionaire Maker and how I'm attacking it. And basically I've had 4 top 100 finishes. I'm every week overweighting the top 1% and overweighting the top 5% of lineups in the Millionaire Maker. And that's the goal, so that I can put myself in a position with multiple lineups to get lucky one time with one play and then vault that lineup all the way up to the top. So if you guys want to see the review, the recap video, it's on the second channel, Al Smizzle Games. I'll put a link. There'll probably be a link right up here right now. That'll take you there to the recap video on the second channel. It's posted every single Monday if you want to know the winners of the Smith Gang Listener League, how I'm doing the Guillotine League, my high stakes lineup, my Millionaire Maker lineups, all that stuff. So this is how I go about building lineups. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, leave me a reply down below with a quarterback stack that you want to attack this week, and let's go.
He's a legend.
I know that a lot of you guys are playing NBA now that it has started. I would highly suggest going to check out the packages that they have over on establishtheRun.com. The best, most comprehensive NBA package and projections that are out there. 10 years of experience working with Drew Dinkmeyer and Mike Leone, who used to be at Daily Roto, now are over at establishtheRun.com. They also have a great NBA player props package if you have sports betting legal in your state. If you want to stick to DFS, it's $2.99 for the entire season. If you want to package them, I believe that maybe there isn't anymore. They have a 1-week package or a monthly package if you just wanted to try it out for a shorter term. It goes all the way through the NBA finals, so you've got like 30 to 35 weeks of content and projections to help you be a better player. And if you use promo code SMIZLIFE at checkout or the link down below, smizzle.tv/ETR, you'll get 10% off of a new membership over at Establish the Run. They have a great football product and a great basketball product with NBA season here. If a lot of you guys have been looking for NBA content, that's the best place to find the NBA content. Looking at the Smiz Gang Listener League, just came out. I do not want to check out any promotions. 3,000 people, $10 entry fee, 3 max. All of that money that comes in goes right back out to you. So make sure that we fill it this week so it doesn't get smaller in week 10. Quarterback this week, you already saw the, you already saw the cover. I'm going with Lamar Jackson. When I'm building tournament lineups, though, I like to start at the quarterback spot because I can fill in with whatever running backs fit. I've said that every one of my tournament lineups is going to have a quarterback with a double stack and a bring back player. So I'm focusing on games that I think have an opportunity to go off. Games that have a high total, teams that have a high total, and at least one player on the opponent that I think can post a solid fantasy score. And like looking at some of these games on this slate, we don't have the 2 most surefire 2021 teams, the Rams with Stafford doubles and Tampa Bay with Brady doubles. We don't have that this week, so we're gonna have to work for the money. The Ravens favored by 6. The Vikings against them have the ability to score. Plenty of options on the other side, both obvious and kind of second tier value plays. Total of 50 in that one, and it's got an under touchdown spread. You got the Cowboys also, so Dak Prescott very possibly will be back after the Cooper Rush takeoff game, giving him his week to kind of marinate after the bye week, giving him 2 weeks off to get that healthy. We know how good Dak has been. They square off against Denver this week, but like, hopefully we get this Dak, the 445 Dak, the 302 Dak, 3 touchdowns in both of those games. We know who the receivers are on the other end of that. Great to double stack, and you have bringbacks there. Herbert going up against Philly. did not do it for us the last 2 games that they came out, but big time upside. And if you are considering using a quarterback, Josh Allen going up against Jacksonville, who's been terrible and let people down in terms of the double stacks this week, unless you had like Steph Diggs and Beasley, right? Diggs didn't have a big day, but Beasley kind of bailed you out there. Josh Allen is really expensive to double stack or just single stack, and it's scaring people away. You also have some players on Jacksonville that you could bring it back with, hoping that they have a better offensive day at home than they did on the road. Mahomes, same sort of a deal. Joe Burrow stacks, doubles have been outstanding this year. Joe Burrow has multiple touchdowns in every single game this year, and he's the only quarterback that's done it. Tremendous player, tremendous upside every single week. You'd have to find a player to come back with. 4 guys basically that you could stack with Burrow, right? You've got Chase, you've got Higgins, you've got Boyd, you've got C.J. Uzomah that are receiving the vast majority, like 75 to 80% of the target market share for Cincinnati. I'm choosing to go with Lamar Jackson this week because, as I said, a game that does have shootout potential, is some push and pull involved. We have a great floor with Lamar Jackson. He's throwing the ball more and throwing the ball deeper than he has in previous seasons. We only have the one game where he's thrown for multiple touchdowns, and I feel that that's going to scare people off of Lamar doubles. The problem is, if Lamar has a game where he is going to be your tournament quarterback and is going to be that tournament winning quarterback, he's going to kind of have to have the type of day where he throws for multiple touchdowns. And if he throws for multiple touchdowns in a game that does shoot out just a little bit, you now have a situation where most people aren't going to be on that double stack. And the combination of that play is going to be lower populated. So let's focus on that one game. Let's just highlight that one game. If you wanted to go with Cousins stacks, because he's been really good this year more often than not, and the viable pass catchers that he has, fine. I'm not saying you can't play him. I'm just saying I'm going with Lamar because higher ceiling possibility with him, and it still can give me some exposure to the other side of the ball as well. So Dalvin Cook, really good. Jefferson kind of tweaked an injury this week, but like he came back, so I'm not thinking it's going to be something that's going to linger. Big time ceiling from him. I think he's the alpha there, but Thielen has also had a very good game with a very nice price here this week, coming off of 2 big games, one against Dallas and one against Carolina in week 6. But I'm going to focus on somebody that I think most people are still disappointed in, because like 5 weeks ago, he dropped a couple of touchdown passes and they can't get that out of their brain. One of the league leaders in terms of end zone targets is Marquise Brown. One of the league leaders in air yards is Marquise Brown. So he can score from pretty much anywhere on the field. And if Lamar has a tournament winning day, or Marquise Brown has a day where he breaks the slate, one is going to bring the other along with them based on current usage. So Marquise Brown at 6K should not be in my flex, but should be in my lineup. And then I'm going to go with Bateman over Andrews for this lineup build, just to get a little bit different. Running a ton of routes, still only 4K, 6 targets in both of the games so far. Definitely has big playability. Hasn't really had very much opportunity to flash it. I like the talent from this young kid, and I love it when talent meets opportunity, especially at a really low price. It's always better to get onto a player before the crowd gets there. The wait and see guys. I have to see him do it first before I'm going to play him. By the time you've waited and seen, the opportunity for you to win is gone, because now the traffic's going to get there. So give me Rashad Bateman this week. And because I think there's going to be a lot of traffic on these guys for this particular lineup, right? Like Jefferson's great, Thielen's great. You can certainly get there, right? There's routes to go. And as value pops open for the rest of the week, we're going to get there with it. But I'm going to go with Tyler Conklin in this spot with 15 targets over the last 3 weeks, and really a heavy dose of usage pretty much every week, as everyone has to pay so much attention to Jefferson and Thielen. We're getting a lot of good usage and end zone and red zone usage as well from Tyler Conklin and his man bun. So for 3K, I'm going to take a tournament dart throw here and hope that he can find his way into the end zone and hopefully fall into it, and leaves me with an awful lot of salary left. I'm just going to plug in a cheap defense. Somebody, let's just put a super cheap defense, because that's been working recently. Oh, look, Jacksonville against Buffalo. No way that works. Of course it's going to work. Probably not, though. Let's take a look at running backs now. Like I said, I'm going to fill with my with my primary stack first, you can move to your secondary stack after that. There's clearly some high dollar running backs on the board. Alvin Kamara has been outstanding and now faces Atlanta. They've got a quarterback issue here. We're going to have to see who starts at quarterback. I don't know off the top of my head because it's Monday when Taysom comes off of IR, whether it's this week or not. They just lost Winston, but got a great game from Simeon as well. So if Alvin Kamara gets a ton of usage the way that he's currently getting usage, great. With the addition of Mark Ingram, who is going to be sprinkled in, that definitely should take some of the usage off of Alvin Kamara in terms of carries between the 20s. But Alvin Kamara and his ability in the passing game will continue to buoy his value as things go on. At 8,200, it might be a bit much. We're going to have to monitor Christian McCaffrey. He's not ready yet because he's on IR. Austin Eckler at 7,900. His price has pretty much been static. Talked about how good Dalvin Cook is in this spot. Getting less usage in the passing game consistently on a week-in, week-out basis, and therefore you see his floor, his as high a ceiling as anybody, but like 6.4, 7.8. Obviously, he was hurt in that game as well, and was splitting time with Madison. And then we get into this range where basically everybody has been used so far. Ezekiel Elliott, Nick Chubb at 6,700. That 6K to 7K range is where we've seen a lot of value with running backs that have basically worked in to high volume passing game roles. James Robinson avoided injury or long-term injury in this game. He left that game early. He's day-to-day at this point. Monitor as the season or as the week goes along with his heel injury. CPAT now with the absence of Calvin Ridley, and I hope that Calvin Ridley can get his stuff in order in his real life. Real life will always come first, whether it's your job or fantasy sports or whatever. Real life comes first. Take care of things at home, and then you can get back. But in the absence of him, Cordero Patterson had already worked his way in to a higher volume role, and now that should be massively sustained in the passing game. Still going to get usage on the ground, getting a lot of red zone snaps and touches over the last 3 weeks since he saw that blow up a little bit. And this volume that he's seeing in the passing game, including another touchdown now, 18, 14, 18, 32, 16. I'm more concerned with these last 3 weeks, 8, 7, and 5, than I was with weeks 1 through 4, because his volume in weeks 1 through 4 led to me believing that his production was unsustainable, and it was at that volume level. But now that his volume has increased, this sort of fantasy point output from Cordero Patterson is entirely sustainable with his current snap count, target percentage, and rush attempt rate and percentage of running back touches. So CPAT at 6,300 seems entirely too cheap to me. If you want to attack Chuba Hubbard at 61, that's fine. I'm looking for guys that have usage in the passing game. Myles Gaskin would be one of those type of players. We're back to last year's usage now, the past 2 weeks from Myles Gaskin. And he gets Houston in this spot at 5,800. He's a little bit too expensive for me for what I want to do with the rest of this lineup. Zach Moss has taken over the starting job here. Now he gets Jacksonville. I think that he is a very viable player to start in this spot. I, however, am going to choose between Connor and Edmonds going against San Francisco, who has struggled mightily against running backs with as dinged up as that defense has been. If you want to go with Zach Moss here, fine. I didn't want to hear from you got the Jaguars defense and you put Moss in there, so I'm choosing Chase Edmonds for the sake of this lineup. Moss will have a higher percentage of people on him than will Edmonds this week. That leaves us a wide receiver and a flex. I like to focus my secondary stacks basically around players that have a high expectation of scoring a lot of points, meaning that you're focusing on teams that have a high team total and or a high game total and are closer than a touchdown apart in terms of the spread. Also, it's nice to have some sort of flexibility later. Well, will you looky here? Green Bay and Kansas City go off against each other in the latest game possible, giving me an awful lot of late flexibility in this lineup. So, assuming that Devontae Adams will get his testing done and should be fine and ready to go. Here's somebody who should be trending upward at 8,200, leaving us 7,900, and Tyreek Hill, another possible tournament breaker, slate breaker here, both on these teams. Hopefully this game shoots out, because if it does, you want to go with Kelsey in that spot and pay up for a little bit more expensive defense or a more expensive running back? I'm all for it. But this is the lineup that we've built. Lamar Jackson double stack with Bateman and Brown, bringing that back with Tyler Conklin at tight end. CPAT and Edmonds for their high usage in the passing game. And if they can find their way into the end zone, all the better. And Tyreek Hill and Adams to try and completely break the slate as a secondary stack. That's my first look lineup for tournaments. Hopefully you guys like it. Leave me a reply down below. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.